Ambassador Vythan adjusted his ceremonial robes as he entered the Galactic Council's emergency session. Representatives from 200 civilizations filled the chamber, their voices creating a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and growls. At the center of it all stood General Marcus Thompson, the human military attaché, looking remarkably calm for someone about to be censured. Order! The council speaker's psychic wave silenced the room. We convene to address the Kepler 442 incident. General Thompson, your species stands accused of excessive force in combat operations. Thompson stepped forward. The hegemony invaded 3 colony worlds. We responded. You turned their fleet into scrap metal, screeched the hegemony representative. Our most advanced dreadnoughts, reduced to debris fields. The Altaran delegate fluttered her wings nervously. The combat footage is disturbing. Your Marines boarded ships and neutralized crews of trained warriors using improvised weapons. 1 human killed 17 hegemony soldiers with what your report calls a standard-issue crowbar. Thompson shrugged. Private Johnson is very creative. Creative! The Zealoty ambassador's tentacles writhed in agitation. Your pilots flew damaged fighters into enemy ships as battering rams while singing something about highway to hell. Standard ramming maneuvers, Thompson replied. The singing helps with timing. Chancellor Korath of the Vegan Confederacy stood, his crystalline form chiming with authority. General, the issue isn't that you won. It's how you won. The hegemony forces reported psychological breakdown before combat even began. Your ships broadcast what you call death metal at volumes that shattered their morale. Psychological warfare is legitimate. You taught your shipboard AIs to laugh maniacally while targeting enemy vessels. Thompson's lip twitched. That was actually the AI's idea. Marcus, 7 has a flair for the dramatic. The chamber erupted again. Stories poured forth from a dozen species who'd witnessed human combat firsthand. Soldiers who'd seen humans continue fighting with grievous injuries. Ships that should have retreated instead accelerating toward enemies while broadcasting ancient war cries. The human tendency to name their weapons and talk to them during battle. The worst part, the hegemony representative continued, is what you did to our super dreadnought Inevitable Victory. Thompson raised an eyebrow. We disabled it. You had a squad of Marines spacewalk to its hull during battle, paint human parking only on its side, then hack its systems to play something called Baby Shark on infinite loop through every speaker. A snicker escaped from Thompson before he could stop it. That was Sergeant Miller's idea. Very effective for forcing a surrender. Ambassador Vythan had heard enough. He'd studied the reports, watched the footage, and reached an uncomfortable conclusion. Rising on his 4 legs, he addressed the council. Honored delegates, I propose we ban humans from military combat operations. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Thompson's expression hardened. Ambassador, not as punishment, Vythan continued quickly, but for everyone's safety, including our own. He gestured to the holographic displays. Look at the data. In every engagement, human presence escalates conflicts to levels our civilizations find uncomfortable. They treat war like a sport where the only rule is winning. Now wait a minute, Thompson started. They weaponize music, turn AIs into psychological warfare tools, and consider ramming a valid tactical maneuver. Vythan continued. They name their bombs and apologize to them before use. They consume toxic stimulants they call coffee to maintain combat effectiveness for days without sleep. The Arcturian delegate chirped in agreement. My nephew served alongside humans. He came back saying they played something called poker to decide who got to pilot the suicide mission. The winner was disappointed when he survived. The ban isn't because humans are too violent, Vythan explained. It's because they're too effective. They break the conventional rules of warfare not through malice, but through innovation. Every species here evolved past certain aggressive tendencies to achieve spaceflight. Humans channeled theirs into creativity. Thompson stepped forward. So you're banning us from combat because we're too good at it? We're banning you because you turned war into an art form that terrifies species who've been fighting for millennia, Phython replied. The Hegemony Empire, conquerors of 50 systems, requested therapy after facing your Marines. The council voted. It was unanimous. However, Chancellor Korath added, his tone thoughtful, this ban only applies to combat. Your species' unique approaches would be invaluable in other applications. Search and rescue, disaster response, exploration of danger systems. Thompson grinned. So you want us to be the galaxy's emergency responders instead of its soldiers? Precisely. Channel that terrifying creativity toward saving lives instead of ending them. As the session concluded, Thompson activated his communicator. Admiral? Yeah, they banned us from combat. No, I'm not upset. They just gave us carte blanche to be the galaxy's crazy rescue specialists. Trust me, this is going to be even more fun. In the end, the galaxy learned that humans restricted from warfare simply found other outlets for their chaotic problem-solving. The ban stood not because humans were too violent, but because they were too human. And somewhere in the void, Sergeant Miller was already planning to paint Human Rescue Squad on the next ship they'd aggressively save.